Welcome back to Meet You at Breakfast. I am Ben. I'm Joe with the full crew here. Brian, Dylan, and Julie to talk about the penultimate episode of season 4 of the Traitors US. And we're down to the final 5. All we have left is the final fire and the, crown the winner / potentially winners. We have a reunion, which is I know a lot of people are getting excited for. They've already filmed it, and there's been people hyping up potential drama that could be happening during that. And we're less than a week away from the season wrapping up.
Yeah, very excited. Is the reunion episode going to be right after the finale episode, or do we have to wait another week for the reunion?
No, it's all happening on Thursday night.
Oh, I'm so excited. Lisa Rinna was teasing a bunch of stuff, and I think I sent it to you guys earlier. She was saying, she's like, I didn't talk about Colton, but I did find out some things. And I'm so excited for her to just rip everyone to shreds, because that's what she does, and that's why I love her. So I'm very excited for that. But no, I thought this episode was pretty good. Me and Ben were watching it via iPhone at the hotel. So, but we, I mean, I enjoyed it. So I think I'm curious to see who goes, but I thought it was another pretty across the board good episode. So.
Yeah, another great episode, great season. Rob is, the man, the myth, the legend. Even when the entire episode is building up for him to have a difficult night at a round table, he did not receive a single vote, which is just, the testament to how bad the Faithfuls have been and how good of a game he's playing. Very, very sad to see Natalie go, even though I don't think she played very well. Have thoughts and comments about Tara and Johnny that we can get to. But overall, this season, just fantastic. I think it shows last season was obviously very good, but I think that this season tops it for me, for sure. And I think just watching Rob, the cast has delivered too, which has been great, but kind of watching Rob's journey from beginning to end. And even though I was very, very nervous for him in this episode, I'm assuming he is going to win at this point. If not, I trust, like I've said before, the hilarity of if Maura figures out Rob at the end kind of makes it worth it. But very excited. Good episode. Very excited for the finale. It was a good week.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, tough for Natalie when she gets talked into voting for Rob by somebody who doesn't end up voting for Rob themselves. Rough stuff. I was hoping that maybe Natalie could pull it out a bit, but Rob continues to slide by. We'll see if this makes anybody more suspicious now that Natalie was confirmed a faithful, but we're entering a point of the game where it's a little bit like there's no return. You don't know what people are when they get voted off now. So I don't think he's going to lose, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think Tara, she was onto something. All she had to do was just seal the deal and talk to more people and just get the ball rolling. And it's like they were at the round table, and it's almost like she just froze up and she's like, "I'm sorry, Rob. No, I would never say that." It's like, girl, you were onto something here. You could have just stolen the entire game right there. And then she pulled what everyone's been pulling all season. They don't speculate about Rob, and then someone says something and everybody thinks it makes sense, and then everyone's like, "Oh no, Rob would never do that to us." It's like, he is though, and you were on the money.
Yeah, it felt very much, especially towards the end of last episode as well, after the Steven banishment, and we get some of the conversation in the kitchen, and then Tara coming in and being upset. It just kind of felt like she has given up. And her just heart's not anymore, and she's kind of just waiting for it to end, which then makes a lot of what she does with Natalie in the episode not make a ton of sense, because you can't really at this point in the game especially play half-hearted, where you in one breath are kind of low-key giving up, and in the other breath you're trying to orchestrate a play. You either have to go all in or just roll over and die, right? She kind of just did the worst of both worlds here, where she, her and Johnny correctly, basically by process of elimination at this point, figure out who the traitors are, but they've been so incorrect the entire season that they don't have the confidence to do anything about it, like proactively. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the way that you win as a trader on this game is like you basically kind of make sure that you, at every phase in the game, you have a majority of people who aren't going to be on you. And that's kind of what Rob has been able to do. And so it doesn't really matter at this point. Like Tara and Johnny are basically irrelevant in the game at this point. And they have been for a few rounds, but like they've just been kind of being used as a prop for Rob to cause distraction, and like kind of like a constructed enemy for his people to go after and to oppose, so that they don't like kind of look inward onto him. And it's worked out really well. So I don't know. I think at this point, it just feels like they're going to murder Mark and then go to the top 3 with Mora. And then the question just becomes like, does Rob go to top 2 with Mora and cut Eric, or does he like take a dual win with Eric? I don't really see any other outcome for the season at this point besides one of those 2.
Right. And like right now, it's like there's only 5 of them left. So like they're like the Spider-Man meme where they're all like pointing at each other. And it's like, if it's not me, it has to be one of you 2, you know, like it. And the fact that there are still 2 traitors left too, like that's almost half of the people that are left. So there has to be like, if they know that they are not a traitor, the person sitting across from them is about 90% chance of being a traitor at this point. So it's like, you just have to process of elimination and just start using your brain to be like, oh, okay. Like even Tara, for her to be like, okay, I know I'm a faithful. I also know that Johnny is a faithful. There are 3 other people to pick from. Which one makes the most sense? And she was on the money. And I was so frustrated with her because I'm like, just go with it. And then at the round table, she clams up. So it's like they're all, if the person sitting across the table from you at this point is a traitor. So, you know, there's not many people left. So they have to actually start using some brain power right now.
I think we need to call a spade too with Tara. I think that she's a lovely woman. I've enjoyed her on some of her Olympic coverage, and I think that her and Johnny's story, like I said, has been, especially last week, was a lot of fun. Going into this week, I think that she was an absolute coward in this episode. I think she really screwed Natalie over, which was just really unfortunate. I do think, you know, Natalie voting for Tara 2 round tables ago, maybe it's not totally unwarranted, but I feel for Natalie, even though I don't think she was playing well. I think Tara and Johnny both kind of completely threw her under the bus. I think that Tara is not good at this game. She acknowledges she's not good at this game. I thought Rob was done. I thought Rob going into this round table, up until we got that confessional from Tara that she was going to let others drive, and kind of the way that this started and the shock on Natalie's face, that's when I knew Rob was not going home. But I thought the edit heading into roundtable was very good, because I was very scared for Rob. I thought that there was no way. And really, if Tara and Johnny just went through with it, especially Tara, Rob would have been out in that episode. I really think so. I think that Mora has become the key to this entire season. I don't see any benefit for Rob to throw Eric under the bus. Like, I was kind of teetering on that after this episode, but now that they don't have to announce whether they're traitors or not, I don't know if that will benefit them at all. Eric is not helping himself at all with how quiet he's been. I think Eric has been an exceptionally horrible traitor to this point, because he is bringing so much heat onto himself by not talking. The lights have gotten too bright for him. But I think most likely, assuming Mark is the one to go in this death, because killing Mora would just be arguably one of the worst moves on the season for Rob, because I think that it would play out exactly how the opposite of what he thinks that it would do, which I think would put more spotlight on him, that he now that the heat was on him, he threw an ally under the bus. I don't think that's what happened. I think that Mark's out of there, because Mark's edit up until this point really has kind of been that, you know, he is a true faithful and really wants to find them, and it was right under his nose the entire time. Pretty much the same with Kristen. So assuming that we have Johnny, Tara, Mora, Rob, and Eric left, you know, it's a game of numbers at that point. It's just a matter of the traders are going to win. It's just a matter of which trader wins. And I think that Eric winning as a trader, if Maura eliminates Rob because she thinks that he really is truly a traitor, and they eliminate Rob and Eric as the final traitor standing, it's very disappointing. I think the edit up until this point makes it very disappointing. It's kind of something I've put together in my head as we were all just talking, that if that is a realistic scenario that could happen, that Eric is the last traitor standing. I don't think it will be the case, but that is a very I would feel horrible for Maura. I'd feel really, really bad for Rob, and I think it would be very unfortunate for Eric. A win's a win, but I think that next week's gonna be very interesting, and I think that, like I said, Maura being the key to everything is very interesting, and because you can't go to Final Four with Johnny and Tara, like you can't, because whoever else is there, like your chances have plummeted if you're there as a traitor. So Maura's the key. She 100%, I don't think, was the one that was killed. If we're here next week discussing her being killed, then I would be pretty shocked.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the right move at all, because she's going to get slapped in the face real hard when she figures out that Rob is a traitor, but she has been defending him all season. And it's just a constantly, Rob's not a traitor. Rob would never do that. Rob this, Rob that. So like, she's already said too, if it comes out that he's a traitor, like she's going to feel like an idiot, feel betrayed. Like, I forget exactly what she said, but something along those lines. And I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to see that very quickly next week too. So.
Yeah. Do you think there's any benefit in killing one of Johnny or Tara instead of Mark?
I think Mark is just really the obvious kill here. Personally, it's just like he's the most faithful on the board. He has sus on Eric, which is an easy sell for Rob to give to Eric. It like creates a very clear 3-2 divide versus Tara and Johnny at the final fire. Like it's just too clean to kill Mark here, I think.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I think too, I fully believe that Maura would vote for Rob. I believe it could have happened in this episode. I don't buy that she's like blindly following him. I think Maura understands the game, even if she's not the best player on this season. So I think killing Mark would put more, or killing Johnny or Tara would put more fuel in her head to that it's Rob, because Johnny and Tara are not killing each other unless you go for like the Johnny Mercy killing Tara, which I don't think that they would do.
Yeah, that's another good point too, is like by leaving both Tara and Johnny in the game at the final five, Rob in particular, because like the reason that you would kill Mark if you're Eric is because he's the one saying Eric's name the most, right? So that's an easy sell there. But from Rob's perspective, if you leave Tara and Johnny in, now both Eric and Maura are kind of just like caught in a web where like neither of them has like a feasible way to win the game without Rob's permission, because they can't go with Tara and Johnny as a 3 because Tara and Johnny will just go down to the final 2 together and cut them. And so they're kind of forced to vote out Tara and Johnny at 5 and 4 at Final Fire. And now like Rob just basically decides whether he wins alone or with Eric as a duo. Like they just have no options, right? You're just forced into a corner.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think Rob's going to have the killer instinct to do it, to get Eric out?
I don't know. We'll see. That's the only thing that's up in the air for me. I think it's like a 50-50. I think either Rob wins solo and he does do the brutal thing and cut Eric at the very last minute, or they just do a dual win as traitors. I legitimately can't like comprehend a different outcome for the season.
Yeah. I mean, it would be like the icing on the cake if Rob just nixes everyone and takes home the solo win, because he definitely deserves it. I don't think Eric's being good at being a traitor at all. I think he completely changed how his demeanor after becoming a traitor, and I think he's so wound up about it, and he's been a traitor for 2 days. Like Rob's been doing this the whole time. So I just think it's more of a satisfactory win if Rob just solo wins the whole thing.
I said I don't see the benefit of killing Eric unless he absolutely has to. Unless they, right, because is it final 3
money, of course.
Well, I guess the money, but I've I've figured from Rob, I think he said himself, he wanted to play that. He wished he could play this game as a trader because he was so good as a trader too. I don't think that he wasn't necessarily like fighting head over heels to keep Eric in this game. But I feel like he could have very easily thrown Eric underneath the bus heading into this roundtable if he really wanted to, knowing that maybe there was some sort of heat that was going to be put on him. I just don't see the benefit in doing it, like you said, Brian, unless it's for the money. And I think at this point, at final three, can they vote to go back to banishment? Like, is that they can do that?
Yeah,
so
without too.
that's the scenario that if that happens, because I don't think like in that situation, I don't think that Rob would want to kill or want to banish Mora, but at the same time, she's dead in the water either way at that point. So it's I think if they get down the final three, I think that's when maybe he considers killing Eric, I guess. But before that, I don't see any benefit if we head into banishment tomorrow to want to throw Eric under the bus.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's going to start, like, if Rob's going to start planting the seed about Eric, if Mark is the one that is murdered, because he can be like, oh, well, Mark was talking about Eric and blah, now he's dead. And like, I wonder if he is going to utilize that information against Eric.
Yeah, well, you got to get rid of Johnny and Tara at some point, though. I feel like you got to keep Eric for Johnny and Tara if you don't kill one of them here. That's the big thing.
And
that makes it tough.
I think it could still be a very eventful finale too, because I think some people are overhyping that it's like a cakewalk for Rob at this point. There are still key decisions to be made for him, but obviously, I think it would be more of a fumble for him than it would be this triumphant victory based on the moves that he does in the next episode. I think more so. I think if Rob ends up not winning this season, I think we look back at that Candace 2 throwaway votes that she had, and I think that being kind of just a very ridiculous. If that was the only fuel that was given to the faithfuls that Rob was a traitor, it's really unfortunate, and it kind of like makes me hate Candace even more.
I mean, I do think it's a cakewalk for him at this point. I find it difficult to conceive of a way he loses unless Mora like has some kind of like come to Jesus moment at the last second. Like it really kind of feels like Mora is just like gonna completely just vote how he wants. And again, like she doesn't really have an option, even if she does start to like have some amount of sus on him or like not believe that one or both of Tara and Johnny are traitors. She just doesn't have the room to go with them because they'll just vote her out at 3. So like there's just no she doesn't have like a path to follow that doesn't involve just trusting Rob at this point.
Do we have another kill or the murder's done?
No, they're doing a murder. It's because there's 6 left. They're going to murder down to 5 and then do final fire. So we're assuming that they're killing Mark because I think Mark is the one that makes the most sense.
Sorry, I mean after Mark and then after.
Oh no. They'll go right from the murder of Mark to they'll do like the final mission and they'll go to final fire.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is where they can win all the money, basically.
Yeah, all the money back.
All the money.
They do the like dramatic throwing the bags into the fire and it's red or green smoke, depending on whether they want to stop or keep going. Yeah.
What did you guys think? What is the opinion on challenges? I saw this as a topic that was brought up on I forget on where, on some Traitors discussion board somewhere, that they think that the challenges suck and are useless. I enjoy the challenges. I like kind of what we just said. The money thing is like I feel like not real. They always have the chance to very easily make up all the money that they supposedly lost in the earlier challenges. But I think that we've gotten some great like comedy moments. The strategic stuff with the shields. I like the challenges.
I would prefer if the challenges could somehow give the faithfuls information. I just think the money is like fine, but then you can win it all back. I wish there's more of a point in the challenges, or like more of the like stuff like the dagger, like more of an influence on the actual game than it has now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I am a big proponent of like there should perhaps be another role or two within the game to keep things a little bit more interesting and unpredictable. But I'd also go for like limited roles and like maybe somebody wins like a dagger or a sword that they can use to murder someone they think is the traitor or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
something
I
like
mean,
that.
they could definitely still do much more with them. I think the challenges are a 50-50 toss up for me. Sometimes I find them very interesting. Sometimes I wish I could have just skipped through it. So,
Right. Like Ben, remember in Devil's Plan season 1, there was a role in that game where it's like a similar game to Werewolf or the Traitors.
Mhm.
And one of the players was like a cop and they had like 2
Yeah.
guns or 2 shots that they could use to just take a player out unilaterally. Like I thought that was an interesting thing. And I know like Town of Salem has like an executioner role.
Yeah,
Could be something.
pretty. It's a pretty like a lot of the like Mafia werewolf games have a similar kind of like a constable or a detective or a like a police officer, any kind of like a role like that, or like even like in Secret Hitler you have the gun that comes up in like the third round or something, or like when you get the third policy on the board or whatever, where you can just kind of vote to kill somebody. There's like a lot of mechanics in Mafia style games like that. I feel like that would be not super like great TV to have somebody just kind of like randomly die because somebody had like maybe it would be better like if it's like a one-off roll and you get one gun but you can't use it until like at least the fourth round. Like I don't know, maybe there's something like that that can be maneuvered with it, but I don't know. I'm okay with them not turning it more into just like Mafia or Werewolf, where they add a bunch of roles, like because like fundamentally, a lot of the roles in Mafia are designed as like a way to help the collective, and they're not really conducive to a game like the Traitors, which is individual and self-serving. So it's just kind of difficult. Like a lot of the roles, like a lot of the Mafia roles, are almost like a suicide bombing kind of thing, like a suicide. Like you basically like use your ability as like a way to help the town, but you're basically kind of like sacrificing yourself in the process. And so like there's just very little incentive unless you design it properly for a game like the Traitors to have those work.
In a reality that they do not kill Mark and they kill, I assume between Johnny and Tara, they kill Tara. I think you go for the move that if you want to pin it on Johnny, that it was some sort of mercy killing. Do we think at that point though that is a cakewalk for Rob?
I think it's harder for sure, which is why I think the Mark is a super obvious kill. Yeah, I think it's harder.
I'm like, I'm trying to imagine a reality now, because I do agree with you overall, but I know I said that maybe it's not necessarily. Yeah, it is a cakewalk. It would be a really bad fumble if somehow you didn't win. Like I said, I do think that there is some sort of. I think that there is more. Mara has some sort of like role left to play in this game, whether it's either way. Obviously, she's most likely going to be the one that is going to be blindsided at when they reveal the Traitors at the end. But just something, I don't know. Something tells me that if Mark is still here and when they get rid of Tara, that is like that. I think that is a more obviously, because we just said it'd be hard, more of a realistic scenario that Rob is likely gone at the next round table. I guess I really don't have much more to put into that thought, because now I'm just trying to imagine what is most likely not going to happen at all. But yeah, it's just the Johnny and Tara thing. Like, was this? And I know maybe the edit, we can't pay attention to it as much as we do in like Survivor and how it's playing out, because they obviously like to add into the drama and the tension of the show and go over the top, maybe a little bit more so than Survivor does, where the edit sometimes tells us where the direction the season's going. I just feel like the Johnny Tara thing has not like fully played off to what we're going to get. And maybe that is just going to end up being they vote out Tara and then they just get rid of Johnny, and then more that just has egg on her face at the end. Maybe that is the story, that that's the purpose they served.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. Especially with Kristen being killed in this episode, like that to me, like the same logic that they would have used to get rid of Kristen here is the reason that you get rid of Mark now, right? It's the same kind of like, it's very strategically and positionally good for Rob to do so. And it's an easy sell for Eric because this is the person who's primarily targeting or throwing out Eric's name. So like there's like motives on both sides for both players to do so. I think that like if Eric doesn't trust that Rob will split the money with him, he shouldn't want to kill Mark here. But I feel like at this point he does trust that Rob is going to split the money with him and they'll go and do a joint win. So this is like the safest play for them to win the game as a duo. The only issue from Eric's perspective is it does literally cede all of his power to Rob because Rob doesn't want the relationship with Maura, and it doesn't behoove Eric to go with Tara and Johnny. So yeah.
Yeah, he's basically Rob's sidekick until the end now. So monkey see, monkey do.
One of the comments I see is not on our video. I'm as the Reddit sleuth of this channel. I'm on the Reddit right now. Somebody commented, "What a joke of a season justice for Natalie," which I can only assume is a Survivor diehard who probably watched this show because of the players from Survivor that were on this season.
Yeah, maybe.
Once again, I don't think. I think Natalie got screwed this episode. I think Tara really kind of gaslit her and screwed her. Even if maybe Tara's reasoning too, which once again, I guess she brought up in the car that maybe they didn't have the numbers. I don't know what your numbers look like if you banish somebody else if you don't go for Rob this week. So I don't fully understand that logic. It really can't be understated how bad Natalie played down the stretch here. I think Natalie was exceptionally horrible. And it's not the Natalie Anderson strategic game player that we know. I think Natalie was really, really bad. So even though she kind of got screwed in this round table, I like Natalie was bad. And that's probably the only reason she was still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Daryl in the chat. Tara totally left Natalie on an island, ironically. It's true.
Yeah. No, I think with the Natalie situation, I understand to a degree, like the decision of Tara and Johnny to like not go down with the ship instead of like trying to back Natalie on this play here. But like if they didn't think they had votes now, then by sacrificing Natalie, they're conceding that they're never going to have a majority or have votes for the entire rest of the season. There's not much time left for them to get those votes. So if they didn't think that they could make a play on Rob here, then the play would then be to, I would say, swap the vote to beat Eric and try to pull Mark in, who had also had some sus on Eric, and like try to do Rob at 5. That feels like more of a feasible kind of way to play this rather than just completely give up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything. I'm a huge Natalie Anderson fan. I think that, her San Juan del Sur win is one of the top 10 wins in Survivor history. I think she's arguably like the 5th or 6th best female player in the history of the franchise. And yeah, this was not a good season of reality TV for her.
Mm-mm. She needs to hire a stylist too, and I will die on that hill. Like people keep and it's funny because like people just keep ripping her a new one about her outfits and literally nothing else. Like that's literally all the Natalie content that I see is people just making fun of her clothes. And then I'm like, no, but there's actually like other stuff that she's doing that's also not great. Like it's not just the clothes. But
listen, I don't care how hot he is. Wearing nothing but overalls is a ridiculous look. I think that's like a
he makes it work. He makes it work.
I can appreciate that. Once again, the man has been living in my head nonstop, night and day for a month now. I think the overalls is a ridiculous look. It's very.
He did that on Love Island too. So
I guess if you got a style, you got a style. I do know, yeah. Natalie's outfits did kind of become a meme with this season. So
yeah.
I feel like the overalls are more popular in the South too. So maybe that's why.
That's just Rob. That's Rob. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
what he does.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I think part of it too might be that he really wants to. He wants to show off the snake tattoo, so I think he really likes the idea of him being a traitor that no one like is clocking while having his entire body covered with snake tattoos and then showing them with the overalls. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the reason. But maybe part of the reason is like that he's just hot and has muscles. But
His
I
snake
think
tattoos are nice too.
I think it might be that.
Yeah,
I think a man that looks like that. I guess if I had that body and that face, but we've moved on to our segment of just gushing over Rob.
I'm gonna put him on my vision board. Just goals for the year. It's just
I would be wearing overalls too. I guess so. Fair enough.
I'm gonna look into it for sure. It's like we can like make it like a girl version of the Rob look. It's doable for sure. But yeah, that's just how he dresses, and he's not trying to be anything crazy that he's not, because he's a very much a simpleton, simple man, and we can't fault him for that.
I always had the assumption that they had that they had somebody that picked the clothes for them, like Survivor. If that's not the case, there are some other really fantastic dressers on these seasons. So like Johnny, for example, like I don't know if he had those outfits in his closet. I assume maybe he did. But what a wardrobe that guy has.
Yeah, and the housewives always dress themselves too, or they have stylists because they're housewives, and that's just what they do. Like Lisa Rinna always comes to the event fully dressed. So
maybe Survivor should start letting people dress normally for the island, and not wearing like full blown suit blazers and all that when they're under the Fijian sun.
Yeah, it's not an episode of Lost; it's Survivor.
Well, I mean, Survivor is always Survivor's got back and forth on this throughout its history in terms of how it treats some people, sometimes they've wanted on some seasons everyone to look like they were just stranded and marooned for real, and then other seasons they just kind of let them do whatever, and then other seasons they've been very inconsistent from person to person even on what they've allowed people to wear. I don't know. I also just wish they just let everyone wear what they want, but I get to a degree the idea that they want to kind of sell each person as a character.
Definitely.
To my understanding with the Traitors, it's they pick their own outfits and they bring them in and they get production just checks them off if they're good or not.
It is brutal for the seasons of Survivor, like Palau and Pearl Islands, where they tricked them into thinking that there was going to be a photo shoot instead of the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't tell you how uncomfortable I would be in a full blown pair of wet jeans with the sand.
So bad. So bad.
That would really upset me.
It's like wearing sandpaper.
Some people get very lucky with the outfits they get, and others very much do not. I think others, it almost puts them at a disadvantage. Like I said, wet jeans, not good.
Yep. Well, anything else about the Traitors that we want to talk about? I know we could talk about Survivor.
No, I mean,
we have the other podcast.
Yeah, I mean, one of the comments that we Survivor 50 starting in a few days, so yeah. One of the comments in the chat was from Daryl was the reason that they didn't make the pivot to Eric when they had the votes potentially there, but not for Rob. It's just because they're just not smart at the game. That's the reason that they're still here. That's the reason why Ian and Rob C were killed off right away. And these are the people that have been dragged into the end game. Which 100%. That's another reason that Rob has been really good. And he was one of the loudest voices in the early part of the season to kill off the people that could potentially be strategic and mental threats against them. So yeah.
I think it's like people saying that this is a bad season and Rob is not. I do think it's I think it's a real debate to have Rob versus Surya, who's the best trader of all time for U.S. traders. I think that Rob has done everything that a trader is supposed to do. I don't think like they have purposely, like we just said, they eliminated the gamers and the people that were going to be the biggest threats to them first, and that also includes props to Candace and to Lisa for I guess you could say Donna Kelsey too for what she provided those first 2 episodes. I think that Rob has done everything a trader has done, which is why like you should. Like in the NFL, when you have a team that absolutely steamrolls everybody and goes on to wins the Super Bowl, and you can look back and say, "Oh, the schedule they played suck." I mean, yeah, the Patriots have won the Super Bowl this year, which I guess they did not. The Patriots won the Super Bowl. You go and people, look back at their schedule and say, "Oh, it was the worst schedule of all time." I'm getting away from this argument because this is actually an argument against the Patriots in the Super Bowl this year, so I'm going to avoid that.
Still hurts.
Rob's done everything he's needed to do to get to this position that he's in. And the only reason he has all this heat coming onto him is 1, it's a numbers game because we're running out of people to accuse to be traitors. And 2, it's because Kansas is a poor sport and threw him under the bus for absolutely no reason. Mm-hmm. So I think that Rob is if you want to put 1A, 1B, whatever, I think Rob is the best traitor that I've seen play, regardless of kind of some of the buffoons we've seen on this season. They got rid of some really dangerous people really, really early, and I think it's last season they kept around too many people that were good at this game. Plus, the traitors were terrible. Like I think it just depends on what you want out of the show. A good traitors or good faithfuls. Can't really have. You can maybe have both, but I don't think that you can realistically have both every season. And I prefer watching a traitor run like Rob's. And I think watch how all that plays out. I prefer that, I think, overall.
Yeah, I think obviously last year, I think the Faithfuls deserved to win. And I think this year the Traitors deserve to win. So it's usually it's toss up, but I think Rob has it in the bag. And I think we've been saying it all season. I would have loved to have seen Candace or Lisa make it further too. But, Candace, I think the only thing that she did to Rob was be petty at the end. And I think the faithful still don't even care. So I think it didn't affect him as much as this episode made it seem like it was going to. So I think he's still very much in a sitting pretty position. So.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have the Rob versus Suri argument next week after the finale and we see how it all plays out. But for right now, I do think looking at the cast is dumb argument, Suri's cast was considerably stupider than this cast, not even close. Yeah. So I think that's a bad argument because I think everyone agrees that Suri played really basically flawlessly in season 1, and people will kind of take snipes at the cast was really stupid, but that isn't really majorly used to discredit her win, and I think that using that as a point here, I think is way less appropriate because I think this cast is way less stupid than the season 1 cast. So that's my point there. And then for me, comparing Suri and Rob, it just comes down to whether he wins solo and whether he does something impressive to cut Eric. Because if he decides to go and take the easy duo win with Eric, I will probably end up putting him below Suri on my rankings of players, just simply because what Suri did to Ari at the Final Fire season 1 is it's very, very hard for that to be topped for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. He has to have a cutthroat moment because right now he's been a very very faithful led traitor, and for him to make that big of a cutthroat move at the end, I feel like that would really just put the nail in the coffin, no pun intended, for his traitor career.
I would do it purely out of spite. Be like, dude, since I made you a traitor, you have set a total of 5.
You're this was my only option. Time to go.
Well, I think at least one of the moves I've had to make was solely because they were on to you, which I still think killing Kristen was a great move for Rob. I think Kristen was very good as a faithful and started to catch on to things much quicker than really anybody else did. Yeah, I guess if I'm him, I'm I have done all the work to this point, and if I see what Eric has contributed as a traitor, does it really feel like he deserves to win? No. So that's fair. So maybe maybe you're right, Brian. Maybe the money, because that would be exactly what I would be saying.
I'm just saying I would do it.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like even like, looking at season 2, right? Like CT and Tricelle, like
yeah,
cut MJ, right? Is that her name?
Yeah.
The housewife there. Like they cut her for simply because of the money, even though they knew she was also faithful. So like, there's precedent, right? Obviously, surreal. So it's this precedent of somebody like doing it for the money as well. I think like also, one of the reasons why, even though I really loved season 3, I didn't love the end game was because they didn't go down to 2. And I think that there's very little strategic value in not going down to 2, even as faithfuls, even beyond the money.
Mhm.
Just
Even
because
from
you're
last
taking
season, like
unnecessary risk.
right, like last season in my brain, Gabby and Dylan won. Like the other two, I don't process that they won in my brain. Like
Yeah.
it, like they're there, yeah, but like I think that Gabby and Dylan were just the ones that stuck out more. And I also think that they weren't cutthroat enough to cut Dolores and Ivor at the end. So I think just the 4 of them just taking it all at the end made the most sense for them as a group, but they could have cut them. But
I think that was also, they had so many just exhausting roundtables at that point too.
Mhm.
Like I think that they were just ready for that game to be over with.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, to Daryl's point too, I guess I personally, I don't think Rob will end up cutting Eric just to get the money. I really don't. I think Rob wants to win with friends. I really do, and I think that Eric is obviously the only friend left that he can win with. But yeah, I think that if I sat back and looked at this, I'm like, Eric provides absolutely nothing, like nothing
Yeah.
at all. I think
Actively detrimental, almost, I would say.
I think would he have been better off recruiting more? Probably not, because I think that puts too much heat on both of them. And if you get one, I think it leads to a breadcrumb trail to the other. So maybe choosing, I still think maybe going for Mark on the opposite side, maybe what might have been a better play, but Eric was still a good selection, even though he's been pretty bad, no, he's been horrible as a trader. But it's, I think that he will most likely take Eric if he can. I don't think that he'll try to get Eric out.
Yeah, I think that Eric is ultimately the correct play because he maybe like assuming that what he wanted was a partner to go into the end with. I think Eric was that correct play for that because Mark and Kristen were partners with each other, and it creates too much of a dilemma in the turret to try to get Mark or Kristen to take each other out in a murder, and they weren't going to get banished. And it creates like a dichotomy where he is going to try to hold on to Mora as his duo, and they will then have a duo, whereas Eric didn't really have a duo outside of Rob himself. Eric also was probably like the smartest of the faithful. Like he was probably the most likely to like legitimately catch up onto Rob within his like crew. So that removes that incentive for him to do that. I think there's a lot of reasons in hindsight that picking Eric was good. Assuming the reason that you want to pick them is to have a capable partner that you can kind of drag into an end game that isn't going to have the motive or the ability to flip it on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. All right.
So, anything else?
I don't know. I think we just gotta gear up and lock in for this week. I'm very excited for the finale, obviously, but I'm extremely excited for the reunion. I love a reunion, so it's gonna be an entertaining one for sure.
Yeah, Daryl, we were very happy that Gabby won last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
We were very pro Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gaggy
too. Yeah.
Gaggy. Love Gaggy.
The TikTok edits alone have like me being exposed to that now as a Gabby fan. That made that whole last season worth it.
Definitely. She's just funny. She's crazy.
I don't think we missed anything. I think like the only other thing that worth bringing up that it really is not like there's not too much to it was Rob kind of overacting in that challenge. I feel like that the edit probably just built that up more than what it really was. So I don't think that there's really much to go off of there.
Yeah. The only thing I enjoyed from that challenge was the dummies.
Just a ridiculous, with them spinning around. I think somebody posted a picture of
like why is Tar not able to spin around?
They must like, is it vertigo, lumbago? What is it?
It's vertigo for
one
I
of
think.
those.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if she has contracted something since she's retired, but I don't know.
I think lumbago is what Uncle in Red Dead Redemption 2 had. That's lower back pain. Never mind. I don't think that's
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's
a
doozy. You know, that was a doozy.
I didn't love the mission. That was the weak one in the episode.
No.
One of the weaker missions.
It felt like that field game where you like put your forehead on the baseball bat and you spin around and then you have to go find something.
Yep. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ben, next week also House of Villains comes out.
Oh my god!
First 3
I didn't
episodes.
I didn't know that was already happening.
I saw. I think Thursday is House of Villains first 3 episodes, so we got to figure out how to cover that too. But you'll be seeing a lot of us this
We'll
next
figure
week.
it out.
Yeah, with this.
And I'm gonna put my feet up until Love Island starts, so I'll have a nice break.
But you have your own podcast, right? You want to shout that out?
I do. Yes. I have a new podcast called The Shore Thing. We have a new episode dropping later this week. And we're really happy with how it's doing so far. It's, it's very girl talky and just chit chatty. So if you like that stuff, if you're into that, then check us out on Spotify.
Awesome. Go check out that. And Ben, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Nope. Very excited for Survivor 50 in 3 days, which is insane.
Can't believe it. 3 days. God.
I will be tuning in. So.
Yes. Good. Dylan, anything you want to?
So obviously the Blindsiders, our Survivor podcast, same network. 3 of the 4 of us are there, though. Julia, you're always welcome to join us if you ever have anything you want to say about Survivor, especially with 50. I think the more the merrier. 50 is both a celebration for the show. I think it's a celebration for our podcast. We've been talking it up for a long time now. Next week really is our Super Bowl week. It's a big deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Dragon Slayer coach, I have been, if you listen to Brian and I's quick episode last week, I am more convinced now than ever that coach is going to win. I think that coach is set up for success. I think that we as a country need coach to win, to get back on track. I think we need a lot of that too. Like we as a society need coach to get a win. But I am very, very excited. We obviously have the Traitors finale back here. I think it's going to be a great week for us. I think Wednesday night is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to figure out our recording schedule for how we're going to do, because we're not going to be recording that night for Survivor because we're going to be up late. It's a 3-hour episode, but we're going to be recording most likely Thursday before Traitors. We're recording Survivor, and then we'll be recording Traitors most likely, I assume probably Friday. We'll figure that out. Because I am not a big reunion show person, but this is a reunion show that I will be sticking around for. So I am excited for that. But it's been a lot of fun. I think Daryl tuned into our Survivor podcast this week. I could be wrong, but I think that we have some fellow friends that are following along. So Survivor 50 is very exciting. I'm very excited. 3 days away. It really doesn't feel real. While at the same time, I'm drowning in Survivor content at this point, but I'm not complaining. Give me more. It's very exciting, a lot of fun. So please stick around.
Yeah, we have on Survivor 50. We just talked about Suri for so long. We have Suri and then also Steph, both from season 1 of the Traitors on Survivor 50. So
yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
As for me, just tell all your friends about the network, Better Radio, slowly growing. We're halfway, or I guess more than halfway to 200 subscribers. We'd love to get to 200 subscribers. Love to get to a lot more. And also check out all our other channels. We can get everything, Those Fake Nerds. We can get sports and History is Wicked. All right. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
See you.